Hey everyone, welcome to the latest podcast episode. This is your host, Terry Knight. And let me tell you, I got the two dynamic duos here that I'm very excited to talk to, Mike and Bo. And they've been best friends for over 25 years, business partners, and they're real estate experts, Mongols in my eyes. They've done great things over the past 30 years. They've acquired hundreds of properties and built over 43 companies, which I want to deep dive into that part. Now they help others do the same thing, and they're from a small town, guys, so they're the real deal, all the way full tenfolds, right? So thank you, Mike and Bo, for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
Right on. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. We do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. So Mike, let me tell you, man, like I was reading that and I just, followed you guys on TikTok as well, and just kind of just like grasp what you guys were up to and what you do. And it's just amazing, man. Like 43 companies, and you guys are teaching, students and people, every single day how to do the same thing. I mean, it's not easy, but just because you guys have all this experience, 30 years and counting, I don't know, man. It just blows my mind. I'm like, damn, like I feel like I'm slacking at this point. You guys are doing so much.
We feel like we're behind.
I swear, we talk about that a little bit. That everyone feels behind, but it's okay. Everyone's right where they should be, and everyone's doing the best they can, right?
Yeah, definitely. But let's first and foremost, let's talk about you guys, right? Mike and Bo. Let's kind of talk about you guys separately as far as where you came from. And I know you guys built a friendship over the 25 years. We'll go to that after.
Sure.
Yeah. Go
ahead, Mike, roll.
Okay. I started out, my first real business was I was at a funeral, and had just graduated high school, and I knew I was looking for a business opportunity. And I knew that I had to work for myself, and I worked all through high school and had a great boss, but I just knew that the feeling was that I was never going to want a boss above me. So I started out knowing that I was going to be looking for an opportunity. At a funeral, a cousin had had a few too many drinks, and he had a chain of video stores in Fargo and Moorhead, Minnesota area, and all the small communities around there. So he'd mentioned that he'd like to keep expanding, and Arizona was an opportunity. I just didn't say one single word. I went back and started doing my research, found 3 different locations, and talked to the landlords a little bit, set up a meeting, called them up, and he was a man of his word. And so he trusted me. He gave me an opportunity, and we blew it up a little bit there in the video store business. And so I always wanted to pay that forward to someone did that for me. So we try to do it for other people also. And we can talk about that a little bit later. From there, I went to video stores, car washes, laundromats. I've always liked the retail part. So right now I still own furniture stores. I like the instant gratification of making a sale and getting the money, and the person walks out with a product or whatever, a laundry service. But I've always tried to provide an unbelievable customer experience in whatever I'm doing, because I realized early there's nothing special. A laundromat is a laundromat, is a car wash. But if you make it unbelievable and user friendly, and so I do all my research, try to find an edge in every single business that we look into, and then just provide an unbelievable experience. Whether it's whether a landlord with our tenants, we try to be unbelievable landlords. Replace the carpet or repaint the whole place. Just try to do better every single time to keep customers coming back, keep tenants in our flex space and our light industrial. We just do the same thing.
Try to be good landlords.
Try to be good landlords. We're not slumlords in anything. We try to keep our prices just below market level and try to be unbelievable. Do the right thing every single time. And I tell you, if you just do that much alone, to just always try to do the right thing, good things keep coming. So you can make more money later on. And if you just keep being consistent, it comes in anyway. So be a good person, be a good landlord, be a good boss, be a good husband, be a good person, and good things come.
Hey guys, so sorry about that.
That's all right.
I think I'm having internet issues. I just texted a number that was on the calendar. Internet never goes down. So first time for everything. But
absolutely, things happen, man.
Yeah. Hopefully it stays up. We'll try one more time. If not, I'll just reschedule, because I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time.
I thought Mike kept going on, and you
just got so bored.
You fucking cut this.
This is going nowhere. This is not interesting.
I'm so embarrassed. Like, you have no idea. I'm so embarrassed. It sucks, man. It sucks. Oh my God. Never happened. I'm like 40 episodes deep. Never happened. Never happened.
Right on. Congratulations on 40 episodes. That's good. That's cool. Keeping it going.
I know. Appreciate it. So it is running. It is already started there. Oh my gosh, Mike, you already started with, how you started with laundromats.
Yeah, video
others,
stores, car
video
washes.
stores, video car washes, furniture retail.
Yeah.
Which one was your favorite? Because that was going to be my question. Which one was your favorite or your
You
industry,
know what?
even till
I
this day?
honestly, we've had that question before, but for me, even with the multiple businesses right now, I tell my management, even my employees and sales meetings and stuff, because a lot of times when you get spread, when you scale a business, you're going to let someone down because everyone wants to see you eventually or all the time. So when you ask what my favorite is, I associate it to having multiple kids. I don't know if you have kids, but if you have
Yeah.
4 kids and one moves away, you don't love them any less because you don't see them as often. You know what I mean? They go off to college or go off, move to. So I don't have a favorite. I enjoy business, and that's the truth. And another question people ask us all the time: what's the easiest business to get into? And I remember the first time I was asked that, I kind of paused and I thought about it. I go, I guess I drew the short straw. They're all hard. But then Bo and I, if it was easy, we would make it hard because if it was easy, it means we're not trying hard enough. You know what I mean? So everything in our life is hard. And if you just understand, guess what? It's going to be hard. I drink black coffee. That way I always know it's bad. It's always bad. I don't care where I go. It doesn't taste that great. I'll take a cup.
Exactly.
So
Good
kind of that
point.
mentality of just make it hard on yourself. That way you're never expecting an easy break and hard stuff pays off.
Gotcha. I mean, all right. So Mike, I'll get back to that in a minute. But Bo, let people know your story, man. Let's go with you.
I started out with the same community. We've lived in the same community for over 40 years. Got to know Mike through my dad. Was in the Rotary Club with a bunch of OGs in town, and Mike was like 19 years old in the Rotary Club, where the next oldest or youngest guy was probably 45.
Yeah.
So I knew of Mike, and he had a younger brother that was more my age growing up, but always kind of admired Mike because I knew that he started the video stores and had a lot going on, and kind of like that's what my aspiration was, man. I wanted to make money. I wanted to get into business. And so I watched Mike. My dad was a small local community entrepreneur. His parents were smaller entrepreneurs in the community with single businesses. But I always knew that I wanted more. So whenever I came back from college, ended up getting into the bread business, which my family was in that. It's distribution. So we sell bread, buy it from multiple different bakeries and sell it all over our community in the tri-state area here. And blew that up as much as I could and ended up selling off a portion of the company, got into the swimming pool construction business with my brother-in-law and ended up scaling that, bought him out after a time. And Mike and I had always talked business and we were best friends for, 15 years. And then about 10, 12 years ago, we were like, all right, man, let's do something together. Mike hit me up about doing some real estate stuff with his brother out in Texas. So we jumped into doing that. And then next thing you know, it just started scaling. We started running on other businesses, buying up other businesses, starting up other businesses, and going into multiple different avenues of real estate. So actually the biggest portion of what we've done has happened in like the last 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, I'm just like overwhelmed because you guys mentioned 43 companies and real estate on the side. How did you guys, other than, I mean, the obvious is building a team. How the hell do you handle that many companies and do real estate? Like, what's your approach to it?
I think the thing is what you just said as a team, and it doesn't happen fast. There's a lot of years there where you just, we own the first building we ever bought. So we're not the flip guys during, after 08, they got in 2012 and started flipping a bunch and then, ups and downs. We own the first building we ever bought. We have sold buildings over the past just for reasons with leases or whatever. But every time we sell a building, 6 months later or 2 years later, we wish we still owned it. So we're the slow guys. Nothing happens fast with us as far as get rich quick schemes in real estate or business. We try to just provide a great service and keep just doing the right thing, and it keeps paying off. So the way we got into real estate for me was when I would close a video store, relocate a video store, a laundromat, or whatever. It just we get to know the landlords, and when I would leave or come in, they were always happy because there's someone behind coming in with a new great idea. So I go with my brother, let's get happy. Let's be the landlord. So we went looking for opportunities in real estate to be the landlord. And then that's when we partnered up with Bo later on and did the same thing out in Texas. So when the booms and busts come, Texas, I like being diversified, and Texas was a different area. So when Arizona got hit during the Great Recession, Texas, not so much. So just flew more out there, did more real estate deals out there, got Bo involved out there. And then we just started scaling different businesses.
I would say the biggest reason that we were able to scale the way that we were is because of the network. I mean, The teamwork between Mike and I, obviously out here in Arizona, but then whenever we go to Texas, Mike's brother is another partner of ours. So it's the three of us. And so when you have three like-minded people that kind of all operate differently, but they're all chasing the same football, it makes it pretty easy to scale. So I'm bringing portions of my team in. Mike's bringing portions of his people in. Dino, his brother out in Texas, has his staff. So once you bring all those people together, and then you end up finding that some people that are working with you would make great partners. So then you end up finding what they bring to the table that you necessarily, maybe we don't, or we don't have the time to. And then we put a lot of people in business through partnerships. And so they're on the daily dealing with everything that we deal with on each business. And so it is kind of strange. I mean, even Mike and I sit back and it's like 43 companies, man, it's crazy how it's scaled, but we've got good people around us. And then we've partnered with good people that have allowed us to do that. So out of 43 companies today, we might talk to 3 or 4 of them, but the other ones are just being handled because we got good people that are in place, either in partnerships or management inside of those companies.
Yeah, hands down. Congrats to that. How many employees do you guys have across the 43 companies?
Probably
Give or take.
700-800.
Yes, yeah, something like that.
600-700, 700-800, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It fluctuates because we got a fabrication company out in Texas, and when we're rolling there, we are staffing. I mean, there's a lot of people there, and then we own the Houston Motorsports. We got a great partner, Philip Orange, out in Houston area, and we have 5 different dealerships. So
dealerships,
yeah, we got a motorsports. So like Polaris, Can-Am,
motorcycles, Hondas, Kawasaki,
golf carts, you name it.
Oh my gosh, you guys are like the dream, like just be involved in everything, man.
The thing is, we partner with really good, like-minded people, and you give them a chance to succeed. You know, to their expertise. We don't know enough about that business to even the size of a dime. You know, we have a great partner that takes care of the day-to-days on it. We have weekly meetings and monthly meetings, but we let in my furniture stores. You know, they're all the same, but the manager has some flair in each store, and we let that with our partnerships. Let them succeed. Let them, fail on some things, and put our input in when it's needed, and not micromanage. You know, so
yeah, I think micromanage is definitely something a lot of people don't talk about, but it kind of scares people off, right? You kind of let them do what they do best.
Yes,
and you see the results, right? You see it as is.
Absolutely.
Wow. I'm just overwhelmed with my questions right now, but how you talked about 700 employees, right? You guys have managers in place.
Yes.
How were you able to scale them though? Other than, I mean, we get it, employees, managers, but was there something that helps you guys be so successful across 43 companies to start to scale them? What's that one important
I
item,
think
I would say?
recognizing the talent, to be honest. It's recognizing the talent. And then we got t-shirts with our slogan on the back is take action and figure it the F out. So most people don't do those things out of fear. Oh my God, what would it be like to have 4 companies? Well, what if you had 40 companies? You know,
even the mindset that Mike had whenever he was young in the video stores, he knew when he opened one, he wasn't just going to open one. He was going to have multiple. He didn't want to just get stuck in a store and work it on the daily and do a great job. And he knew that he wanted to scale. And I think we're that way with real estate, with our self-storage. It scaled huge. And the reason why is we had a good like-minded partner that was a young guy that wanted to hustle. And once you buy one self-storage facility, why not buy another one? Why not buy another one? Why not buy another one? We don't stop.
Yeah.
Once we get going, why would you stop? I mean, if the ability's there and you got the team to acquire more real estate, why not buy more real estate? I mean,
and we only buy cash flowing properties, and we only buy properties that are undervalued. So we're very disciplined. It's not like we're just out there, throwing stuff up and see what sticks. We do have strategies involved in, like when it comes to real estate, Bo saying, why not own more? Because if you buy something, a piece of property that has a tenant in it, or that you can add value and get a tenant in there, it's cash flowing, it's paying down debt. You get the depreciation on the taxes. It's going up in value, and your tenant is paying down the principal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's in there for 3, 5, 10 years, go get another one. And then you get another one, and you get another one. And then it just slowly builds, because we are long-term guys, and partnering with great people and let them build their little empire over here and then put our input in it. And then they hire more people, manage more people, open up another Houston Motorsports. Pretty soon you went from 1 to 5 in 3 years?
Yep. Now we're looking at a couple more.
We're looking at a couple more. So then, hopefully by this time next year, we're going, hey, we got 7. Well, it's not that we can work any more hours. It's just letting that person do their job. And then they hire really good people. And it just keeps growing. So as long as you're doing the right thing, and it just keeps growing. And we don't sell. So
and we're partnership with like-minded people too. They're the same that we are. I mean, they want to scale. They want more. They want more. It's never enough. And we're like that way to a fault. Like a lot of people go, why you guys keep going? Like, aren't you good? And it's like, well, that wasn't the objective from the beginning,
right?
Is to just get to a certain point and then stop. I mean, we enjoy what we're doing. So why would you stop?
Right. I watched one football game this year. That was 2 nights ago. I had no hours last year golfing. I have no hours watching baseball. I have no hours. There's a lot of things I don't do that gives you time to do the things you do enjoy. And I like doing business. So
yeah, you guys are very business minded. Just want to pick your brain. That's crazy. Self-storage. You guys mentioned getting one, finding a partner, great partnerships. For anyone that wants to get in self-storage, laundromats, furnitures, I mean, we're talking dealerships at this point. You guys in freaking every industry in my eyes. How can someone brand new, whether they're an entrepreneur starting out, or maybe they don't have money to start that good journey, like how would you get around that? Like, what's the best approach?
In my opinion, whether it's real estate or business, Bo's path to entrepreneurship, my path is look close. You don't need the internet to go, oh, I'm going to go and find something in New Jersey. I'm going to find something here. Look close. It's your uncle. It's your dad. It's your uncle's best friend. It's someone that was just at Thanksgiving. It's someone close that is looking to expand their AC business or their plumbing business or their technology business. But I like keeping it close to keep it, you got people that care about you. You got people that will help you. But what I've found, and Bo and I have found, and we're fault of it at the beginning of our career too, is asking for help.
Yeah,
and
network.
It's network and asking for help. People like us, we're here. We got 10,000 things to do today. But because you want to talk about our business, we put the brakes on, put it on the calendar. We'll talk to you for the next 2 hours right now. We'll give it to you for free. It doesn't matter because we enjoy what we're doing. Hopefully you get something. I like the smile on your face, and hopefully your audience has that. And then that's the reward. You're just sharing information that you think other people can use. But if I'm giving someone advice and you want to get into real estate, buy a duplex within 5 miles of your house. Get in a business with your cousin, your friend, or ask for one, work for free. See if you want to do that.
Yeah.
Hey, he's got a AC business. I don't want to just haul off to school. Okay, well, hang out for 3 weeks for free. Be the grunt man.
How many people do you talk to that want to get involved in real estate or business and they use the excuse of money? Well, once I get the money or once I get this, but you know what? They're not doing anything to educate themselves. And there's so many people like Mike and I that want to coach people up and show them the path of doing it. And we never talk about money. We never talk about money in our coaching or anything like that. You'll find the money. Mike always says, if there's a good enough deal, or invent a time machine and then say you can't get the money to make it work. People are going to throw the money at you if you invent a time machine.
Yeah. You get a working prototype, bring it to the meeting, you'll get $1 billion in 3 days.
Yep. But we really feel that way. So many people, it's just an excuse. Don't have the money, or once I do get the money. But are you educating yourself? We didn't have the mentors that we wanted in our life for a lot of years in our small community. Anybody that was there, like Mike went into Rotary Club, like I talked about earlier, but he was just looking for someone to give him some guidance. I mean, this dude tells me every time within 30 days, he's going to tell another story about some old guy that told him something and he lives by it today, because you're always looking. You got to be looking, man.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Cool. No, that makes sense. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I have said that in the past as well. Money is a factor, but, I think it's ourselves, right? We need to kind of shift our mindset and figure out if you really want it, just figure it out. Take action.
Yeah, exactly. And people that really want it, it sticks out. Now, if you're faking, which is most of the population, hey, I want to work out. Well, don't look like you want to work out, because you can start doing push-ups for free at home. And you could quit eating the Twinkies and the ding dongs and the shit you're eating and look like a badass, and you don't look like a badass. So you must not want something, that bad. So it's,
the same way in business and real estate. It's the same way in
business. If you want it, are you selling lollipops on the weekends? Are you hustling something? Your tennis shoes? You got to be like I would always say, if I'm going into business with someone, they're already in business in something. They're selling something on the side. They got something going on, because just like a songwriter, you may not know, or singer, they're going to church and singing. The guy that writes songs, he's writing poems every night. They're not getting published or nothing, but he's already doing it, or she's already doing it. Tommy Lee banged on pots and pans as a baby or whatever, and pretty soon he's Tommy Lee, right? Yeah. So it's just like that in business too. If you are showing interest, Bo is going to just go, come on, step up. The guy that runs the 43 or 44 or whatever we have in storage complexes, he used to sell Lazy Boys for me. He literally sold Lazy Boys for me. And he came up and
But for like 3 years, he was constantly banging Mike about,
yes,
hey, man, what do you think about this house? I saw this house for sale. I'm thinking about possibly buying it, maybe trying to do a flip on it. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? He was constantly running at Mike with different ideas. And Mike shot him down numerous times over and over again. But he was persistent, kept on pushing and pushing and pushing. Next thing you know, we own 43 different storage companies with the dude.
Yeah. And when he brought this storage complex that he did, it was an abandoned one. It was left over from our Great Recession. Our area was hit really hard. We're a tourist area. So when things went bad in 08 and all that, it went really bad here. So it's a lot of good people, a lot of good businessmen, didn't make it. But their storage complexes kind of went empty too. So there was a golden opportunity here. So he brought it to us, or brought it to me, and he was working for me. He'd already, like Bo said, brought several other opportunities. But when he brought this one, I go, ooh, that's a good one. But I just told him, he goes, do you want to be partners? And I told him, I go, no, I don't want to be partners with you, but I will help you buy it. So he didn't know anything about real estate, how to make an offer, how to get an extension, how to letter of intent, how to ask for owner financing, how to go to the bank. And he got turned down every single time. And then Thanksgiving was coming up. I go, ask your family members, tell them about this deal. So anyways, so it went on and on and on. And then when it got to the very end, that he was going to lose it the next day. Hey, I've gotten the extension. I go, so now are you going to lose it? Yep. Is someone else going to get it? Yep. And I go, so now I'll be your partner. But I go, I need you to remember this day, because you have to remain humble at all times, and you have to always be honest. You never let greed come in. But now I will be your partner. And so we bought the one, and when we got up to 3 or 4, I explained to, his name's Denny, that how important partnerships were and how you can scale. Bo is into construction, has a great team on his pool staff that can do construction things. And I knew we were going to need that trade, brought him in, brought my brother in. And then we started scaling, because we had all these other resources to buy more. And we were buying older units and fixing them up and keeping them. So they're all, he's killing it. He takes care of the day-to-day operations, and we're still growing.
That's crazy. You said 43 storage units or 43 storage companies? Yeah. Like, partnerships, I think that's very important for anyone out there when you're finding people to work with. Do you guys offer like incentives or percentages, or I know it's different per company, but how do you, other than being hungry, being an entrepreneur and having that drive, how else do you help them to make sure they're a great partner for the long run with that business?
I would say, like in partnerships, structure of a partnership is got to be fair across the board. And so me, Mike, and Dino, anything that we've done, it's been, everyone's got 33% of whatever piece of real estate or business that we're involved in. And then if we bring a partner in, if that partner is going to be on the daily operations, they need to get paid as though they're there on the daily for the operations. They're, if they die in a car accident tomorrow, we're going to have to replace that person. So you got to pay them, the type of compensation that they would deserve for being and operating the business. And then whenever it comes to the percentage, is we usually end up making it even across the board. It just depends on the investment, how much money we're going to have to actually throw out there. If we're going to have a lot of our own capital involved in it, then we may end up loaning it through hard money to the company, or we may take a larger percentage. But we're not greedy in that way. If somebody's performing, then they deserve as much, if not more, than what we put into the company. So I would say that the biggest thing is just making sure that it's fair across the board, because the minute that you feel like you got one up on somebody and we negotiated a better deal, it ends up blowing up in your face, man. Yeah. Just be open and honest. And if someone's got the ability to grow, get a bigger percentage or whatnot, give it to them, because you're going to end up scaling more and you'll make up for it in the long run. Where if you think that you're holding somebody back and giving them a smaller percentage because you're going to kill it, you're not. Work. It doesn't.
Gotcha.
We have one friend that's a really good businessman, and he's got a saying with partners. He goes, He goes, whenever you go to split up a 50-50 partnership or the profits or whatever, or any situation that happens in a business, he goes, it's never 100% fair. He goes, so when you throw 11 on the table, you got to be willing to reach down and take the 5 sometimes. So we call it taking the 5. So if I have to go talk to an upset tenant or something's bad, and he goes, you're going to take the 5 on this one. I don't want nothing to do with it. So we call it taking the 5. You got to be willing to take the 5. When there's 11 on the table, you don't always get the 6. And if you're the type of person that's always grabbing for the 6, we don't want nothing to do with you. We'll see you, at the grocery store or the restaurant. Hey, how you doing? But we're not going in business with someone that's reaching for the 6 every time. You got to take the 5 once in a while. Let the partner have the better half.
Exactly. I actually love that. You know what? Just the fact you guys explain that so like perfectly in my eyes, that's the perfect approach. And even not grabbing the 6, everyone has to grab a 5 so often.
Yeah.
You guys are just equaling out across the board. I love that. That. I think that's why you guys built such a great, massive companies and great employees, because you're not having your big ego on top.
Yeah,
you understand the day to day. You understand what it's like. And you can kind of go to that level and make sure everyone is on the same path.
Right. I truly think that's what has allowed us to scale.
Yeah, exactly.
So many times people get caught up on the small things, and
exactly. It's not worth it, man. You just got to make sure you're meeting up with like-minded people, and it doesn't take long. A lunch can do it as far as how someone treats the staff. Did you hold the door open for a lady after we, did you, when someone gives you water, you just ignore them and keep talking business, or you look up and go, hey, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Just small things, honestly. It's just, we're looking at every single thing. And when you get a couple red flags, it don't take much to go, I probably don't want to do business with this person. Honestly, it's just, you got to be looking for always doing the right thing, always, every single time. Then it sticks out, because most people aren't doing the right thing every single time, so those are the type of people we want to be partners with.
Exactly. No, I like that. Do you guys have common core values across the board in all 43 companies? One that sticks out the most, or are they all different?
Honestly, they're all different, but they're all the same, because we just have been, because everyone's, we don't have an attorney on retainer. It's not like, oh, geez, we got all these partners and then, there's problems. We don't have that, man. It's just, we do have operating agreements. We do define what responsibilities are, but anybody knows that partnerships can go haywire. But honestly, if you really try to make it fair, there's usually somebody trying to get an edge on someone else, right? In a partnership when it doesn't work. Well, what if you weren't trying to get the edge? So you're not a victim, and you're not trying to get over on the other person, and you're both making money, or you're both losing money, and we're trying to figure it out. It just keep it real, man. Keep it good. And we just haven't had those problems.
No.
And we enjoy what we do.
We're kind of cowboys too. I mean, like when it comes to the back end stuff, I mean, we've got CFOs and controllers and all of that are handling a lot of things on the back end, but a lot of times we do we're like-minded. I mean, me, Mike, and Dino are like-minded. And so when it comes to partnerships, we sniff it out before we end up jumping into a partnership with somebody, so all of our partners are solid people. We've been really super fortunate.
Right. And it's just a way to get started in business. It's a way to expand into business. And like Bo had said earlier about people not having the money, there's always a way, right? I mean, if you really want to get in business, there's a way to do it. If you're just, I knew I was hardwired that way. I don't have a memory of not trying to be in business or make money. So I knew it was easy to see that this was going to be what I had to do, because I didn't like the authority over me over anything. I just don't like someone telling me what to do in any way, shape, or form. So I recognized that early. Good people trying to tell me what to do still bothered me, even if it was in my best interest. So I knew I probably have to be my own boss, but
that's so cool. You guys have a credible story, I think, in my eyes. You guys mentioned real estate. Is this more like long-term rents or commercial buildings? Like, what do you guys focus on? Fix and flips?
Started out. Mike and his brother actually started in the early 2000s buying real estate, light industrial, commercial buildings in Texas. And an old guy that had coached them up on, hey man, if you buy one building every year, in 10 years you'll have 10 buildings, and that because they were involved in business, making money, but they weren't looking for the long term. Mm-hmm. And so through real estate, hey, we could have some long term wealth. And so they started in light industrial. And then whenever I jumped on board with them and started chasing stuff, we went back and went to another community in Texas and bought up all the light industrial buildings that we could there that were distressed and fixed them up and then leased them out. And since then, we've bought residential condos in Vegas to multiplex, fourplexes, duplexes, verbos. We right now we're taking we bought all the storage. We got like 43 different storage self-storage companies all through Arizona and Nevada, and a little bit in Texas. And then also we started chasing after big box stores. So dilapidated retail like Walmarts that had closed down, and then we changed those over to climate controlled storage. So we're chasing after that right now. But I would say our biggest passion is where these guys started at was in light industrial and commercial.
Because we left that space. I don't want to say we left it, but we
got busy chasing everything else.
Yeah, so you're looking for opportunities, and storage was something that really hit, and so we put a lot of energy in that. But right now, it's we love light industrial, especially since the pandemic, where all the people want to be self-employed now. That was not as big before. There's always been self-employed people, but not like it is today. It's almost a little celebrity type thing as far as like, wow, you're in business. So a lot of people are doing it. HOAs don't allow people to open businesses and keep the UPS trucks coming, so they go to flex space or light industrial for the contractors. So there's a huge opportunity, and our thing is with our real estate, we're real aggressive. So we're as far as like knocking on doors, we're not just looking at LoopNet and Crexi to find the deals, because those really aren't deals. That's buying stuff at Walmart. Real estate at Walmart is there, and we don't buy anything retail because we're very it has to cash flow or we don't own it. So finding those buildings, knocking on doors, and that's what we teach people. Is a lot of times this, in my opinion, this country is just full of a bunch of older generation that have these buildings that aren't managing them right. They don't have websites. They don't take care of them, or they ran their race already and they own one piece of property. It's 2 acres with a fence and a broken down old building. And it's still got their equipment, but they quit going in there. So what we do is we contact those, either they're old grumpy guys or nice grumpy guys. And either way, we're good with it. But we don't take no for an answer. We just keep circling back, and we end up buying their old buildings. And then if they pass, we buy them from their kids. So it's kind of, like I said, we keep it close as far as, we keep circling around and we just keep acquiring, build these relationships. And pretty soon on the 4th visit, they go, oh, I guess I could sell it to you, So we just represent ourselves as really good guys. We're going to take care of, because people get emotionally attached. And that's something Bo and I realize.
Yeah.
It's not just the letter with, hey, we're here to buy your building or something. You got to, come on. These people spent 30 years every day drinking their coffee, raising their kids in that building. And now you want it. Well, they are emotionally attached. So we let them know how good we're going to treat it, what we're going to do to it, the money we're going to put into it. And a lot of times, talk about getting in with little or no money, is they've already made their money. They're not after the money. The building's just sitting there. So now it's about, hey, well, can we do an owner finance? Yeah, I don't want to give the IRS all that money. You bet. So a lot of ours are owner finance. And then we justify the prices. Maybe they're asking way too much. A lot of times they're asking not enough. We can just give them what they want for it, but they just haven't been following the real estate trends over the last 35 years. They've been running their machine shop. So there's just a huge opportunity of real estate out there that are waiting for someone to knock on the door, be polite, be kind, and take care of their property. And they're willing to sell it at a fair price to the next generation.
Yeah, you hit around the mark. I think there's like a big boom, baby boomers. Like a lot of people are retiring. We're talking small businesses, real estate, like hotels and so forth. So now it's like a good time, right, to kind of start learning about what you guys teach and take advantage of that, because that's money. That's money for everyone.
We had a father-son in here real quick. We do coaching. We do all sorts of things that try to help other people, but it started out organically, just being in a smaller community where pretty soon you look like the big fish in a small pond. So people come to us all the time, and we have an open door policy because we love talking about business and sharing the knowledge that we do have. And if you're interested and you're asking our advice, we don't go preaching to nobody, then we'll sit down with you. But we had a great family here in town that the old guy built up a blue collar business, and hey, he was doing well. Took him 35, 40 years to put together his $1.3 million. So he's hanging on to it like the Hope Diamond, getting 2% interest or whatever, and his young son is killing it. He's a chip off the old block. He's not he's not being spoon fed. He is killing it, but now they built up this business with this younger son's better way of doing business. And now he wants to expand into real estate. So they come and sit down with us a couple times. And hey, how do you do it? Just kind of what you're asking. And I go, I tell you what, I know you, the dad. I go, you go to your desk. I imagine there's an old Rolodex sitting there. And in their Rolodex is a bunch of old people in town here that you know that one of them has an old building that's sitting there dry. 3 days later, he went back to his Rolodex, found an old guy that has a piece of property that we would buy. It's exactly in light industrial with a fence around it, that the guy even left equipment still in it. It's still there. And so they ended up putting it in escrow, and now they have that building and they're going to be leasing out and making money from it. But they're out there if you looking for it, so.
Mostly in your Rolodex. Start local like right next door. That's so crazy. It's funny you mentioned Crexy and LoopNet for looking at properties in general.
Sure.
You guys mentioned knocking on doors, doing it the old-fashioned way, which a lot of people don't do. I'm not going to lie. But that's the best way, right? Like in following up, rejection is key, but just you said after the fourth time, they open up and say, you know what? Why not? I'll sell it to you.
Yes.
Yep.
That's crazy.
The thing is like LoopNet and Crexy, I would say for like someone wanting to get into real estate investing is, even though like we look at it, and believe me, we look on there to try and identify properties that might have just come on that we might be interested in, and realize that, hey, we could value add to this thing. We could expand on it. Their rents are too cheap. They might have it out there a little bit too cheap. You might be able to negotiate the price down to where it's more fair, because like Mike said, it is like shopping at Walmart for real estate. It's usually retail, but I would say for like the young entrepreneur, that young real estate investor, it's a good way to educate yourself.
Absolutely.
And run numbers on it and be able to do those sort of things where pull up the property, see what it rents for, if that's, what you're chasing after, if it's a light industrial or even a self-storage. Okay, what kind of revenue can I generate off of this property, and what's the price? It's just a math problem. Okay, well, I'll need 25% down. Well, I don't have that. So, but just run the numbers on it to see if it actually makes sense. And then what we would do is we would go into that same neighborhood and try and find like properties to that one that's on LoopNet. And then there's probably 10, 12, 15 of those. Well, if you stop by and knock on the door, you might talk to 3 or 5 of them. And then the other 10, you might need to send a letter or find a phone number, call them, ask them if you could possibly meet up. But a lot of people just, that part gets hard. Yeah. And a lot of people just, they get, it's too hard for them.
Yeah.
But once you get past that and you do it over and over again, the rejection's not a big deal. It's just on to the next, on to the next. And we've had the majority of the properties that we've acquired started with a no.
Yeah.
Of course.
People didn't want to sell.
And just like what Bo's saying there, if you, analogy would be like a sports thing. You wouldn't read a bunch of books about how to play baseball and then show up for the game. You would practice. And so you can use LoopNet and Crexy for practicing. And if you keep it close to home, you can become an expert in your town for, let's say, light industrial. So in the cities we are in, we are experts. When you go into Boise, Idaho, I don't know one single thing about it. So I'm not going to jump into Boise, Idaho because at $73 a square foot, that's a smoking deal in Arizona. Well, it might not be that way in Boise, Idaho. You might have to pay a lot more or a lot less. We've run into some areas where we're going to jump at this. It's so cheap. It's in Oklahoma. Well, we realize everything's cheap there. The rents are ridiculously low in the spaces we're interested in. So I don't even know how they build stuff down there or whatever. So you got to be careful. But if you just keep it simple and you start small and you do your homework on Crexy and LoopNet and run the numbers like Bo said as just practice, because you don't know the business yet, you can do a lot of practice and learn a lot about, wow, okay, this is a really good deal. But most of the time you're going to find out, you find your criteria, it won't work, unless you're the end user or whatever. But as a real estate investor, it's a great way to practice.
Yeah. A lot of people look at it, well, run the numbers. What does that mean? Well, that's where you got to educate yourself, man. You got to reach out to guys like Mike and I. We'll help educate you. Get on YouTube. That'll help educate you. Find a mentor in your local community, a realtor, anybody, and then don't stop.
Yes.
Don't stop until you get the answers, until it's uncomfortable.
Right.
But most people get uncomfortable and they just quit.
They quit. Yeah. They get tired. Yeah. Oh, it's hard. Guess what? I told you earlier, everything's hard. If it's not, make it hard.
Yep.
Exactly. No, I totally agree. You guys mentioned, I don't know why I keep going to self-storages, because I heard that's a very good
Oh, we
industry to
love it.
be in. Um, how much can you make off of self storage? I know it's based off units, right?
Mhm.
Doors, but for your portfolio, how's that looking? Like,
Yep. Right
how's that
now,
looking
it's
like?
with interest rates, to be honest, and with steel costs and everything, it's really hard to get into it today. But that doesn't mean there's not
Mm,
huge opportunities still out there for the person who's willing to knock. But a lot of the low hanging fruit has been picked because of the internet,
mm,
because you're so interested in it. Every person that's in business, if you own a car stereo business, you like self storage. If you own a dog grooming business, if you're in business, self storage for whatever reason,
Yeah,
he's
in our 20s we talked
I
about it. In
like
our
self
30s we
storage
talked about
10
it.
years ago. I liked it 20 years.
yeah.
I liked it. So once it came all over the internet, it's like maybe it was Grant Cardone, hey, multifamily. So then the
Mm,
prices kind of went up, or not, didn't kind of go up. They did. So now it's hard to make money in multifamily, in my opinion. You got to knock on a lot of
mm,
doors, find the old guy. But as far as self storage, that's why we circled back around again, and we're just kind of dedicating right now towards flex space and light industrial. Light industrial, if you look at our portfolio, you know what you'd do? You'd go, well, it sounded good, but those are a lot of ugly buildings. So we don't have any fancy buildings like Grant Cardone or someone to stand next to this. Look at this. You're in Miami, I guess.
yeah,
Well, you got
yeah,
beautiful buildings there. You come look at
yep.
our portfolio, you go, what? That's making you how much? That ugly thing? Or we just sit there and go, yep, that ugly thing's making a lot of money. So
Yeah.
we have ugly buildings that we try to make them look as good as we can. But to be honest, it's just a place for a guy to park his 16 trucks, keep his someone in the office, the restroom, and store his parts for his AC business. Now do another
Mm,
one, a plumbing business. Now do another one. And where we're at in Texas, a lot of them are next to the refineries. So these guys all have contracts and work in the refineries, which is just takes up, hundreds of square miles in, parts of Texas. So,
Right. And to answer
yeah.
like in the self storage, where we found our niche was buying dilapidated properties, like Mike's talking about. So we would buy a storage facility that was on like 4 acres, and it would only be like a 8,000 or 12,000 square foot building that had like 15 units in it. And so we would buy that, fix that up, rent those out, and then we would expand.
yeah.
So
Mm,
we'd buy it right to where the land's almost free, and then we would build it out. And during COVID and all of that, the build out, the cost of the build out, and then the rent up rate was tremendous. I mean, it was filling up so fast. Today, it's a lot harder to do that. And just starting with bare land and building out makes it really tough. But still, if you can get out there, we've been coaching people up. There's some guys up in Wyoming that we just coached up recently. They bought their first self-storage facility. It was a couple $100,000, and they actually did it with no money out of pocket. And the reason why is because they developed a relationship with the guy that bought or that was selling it. They had a realtor that was in between them. They kind of went around him a little bit, got to know the owner a little bit. And he actually financed the down payment, and they got a bank loan for the second or for the first mortgage on it. So they were actually able to get in it. But these same two brothers are badasses, man. They hustle and they're constantly looking, and they're not taking no for an answer. And so there is the ability is out there. I mean, or the opportunity is out there. It's just you got to drive 10 times harder than what most would even recognize that you have to actually make something like that happen.
And we teach that as far as
Yeah.
how to recognize those buildings, because we are always about distress, divorce, and death, the 3 Ds. That's where the money can be made. So
Yeah.
find
Oh,
someone that's
wow.
got one of those problems in their life, and they probably don't want the real estate associated with it.
Yeah, divorce definitely hits home there for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, how do you guys find? Well, you guys mentioned funding. I mean, you can get SBA loans, you can get private lending loans. Do you guys have a preference? Or is it just based off the deal for
Yeah.
funding?
Honestly, we don't specialize in anything like that. We look at all opportunities. So it can be a partnership. It can be hard money loans. We've done a lot of those. We've been fortunate to have some older guys in our life that trusted us and wanted to do business with us. So we've got some of those relationships. So we encourage that as long as you're disciplined, you understand the deal, because hard money guys can be, they're hard money guys. It's expensive.
They want their money.
They want their money. So you got to be careful with that. Traditional bank financing, we got multiple relationships. I'm actually on the board of directors and on the loan committee of a local community bank. So it was been doing that for several years, but it was an interesting opportunity to kind of see behind the curtain and realize it's just a group of people at a table like this making decisions and wanting to loan money. So before that, it was like, what happens when you turn in that paperwork? Where's it go? But once you figure it out, you go, guess what? Their job is to sell money, which is loan money to you. So once you kind of get rid of that fear and then you walk into a bank and just like anything else, build that relationship, let that person know what you're going to be looking for, what you might bring to the table, what their requirements are. And people, again, love to talk about their business. So don't be afraid to go in and go, hey, I'm doing my work on Crexy, LoopNet, but I'm also building a relationship with a banker for something I plan on doing next year. But what do you guys loan for? What are you going to be looking at? You know, it's just about having common sense and figuring it out. Take action, figure it out. And people will give you the answer if you're out looking 10 hours a day. But if you're looking on your one day off in between this and that, and God, it's hard. I can't find a deal. Well, no shit. Of course you can. Yeah. You're not looking 14 hours a day. But if you're looking 14, go play darts 12 hours a day. I'll see you in a month. I'll bet you're pretty damn good. Right? I'll play darts. I guarantee you, I could figure it out.
Exactly. That's so cool, guys. So you guys mentioned you coach people. What is it? Everything business and real estate? Like, what exactly can you help people out with?
Honestly, from starting to how to scale a business, because we've scaled multiple businesses, how to get into your first business, we'll coach you up on that. We know from the third grade level, we always talk about taking things down to a third grade level, because everybody, what happens is the reason a lot of people are afraid to ask questions is because of the fact someone's going to talk over your head. You're not going to understand what they're talking about. And what are you going to do? You're not going to say anything. Yes. You're going to leave the room and not know jack shit. So honestly, like I attribute our success in coaching people is we can take it to a third grade level, man. And we'll make you feel open enough to be able to ask the uncomfortable questions that you feel like you should already know, so you don't really want to ask them. And that's in real estate and in business, because we started from a local community. We're not highly educated guys. We know what we know. We're kind of cowboys in entrepreneurship and in real estate investing. And we've been there. So I feel like we've got an edge in being able to coach people up. You look at social media and you got all these young guys driving Lambos and talking about how easy all this shit is. That's not us. I mean, that was a big push of why we got on social media to do the things that we're doing, to put it out there, because we feel like in business, Mike said it at the very beginning, he wants to provide the most unbelievable buying experience in any business that we own. Well, we feel the same way with our coaching. We want to make sure that we bring value and people understand and they're going to be able to get something out of it. So we can take it down to the very basics of how to buy your first real estate deal, how to analyze your first real estate deal, how to negotiate your first real estate deal, how to negotiate the terms, whether it's going to be an owner carry, how to deal with your community bank, what to expect from your community bank. It's one of those things that it's not, like in anything, everybody wants the silver bullet. They want what flips the switch that makes me an entrepreneur? What flips the switch that makes me a real estate investor? It ain't like that. Yeah. It is a grind and it's a long term. But if you enjoy doing it, you enjoy the build, which is the biggest bitch in business and in real estate. If you enjoy it and you enjoy the grind of it, dude, we're the guys to end up coaching you through it.
And the thing is like Bo and I are doing this because we would have done anything to have someone like us to be able to go, dude, I got this idea, but what do you think? I would have loved to have. My parents didn't know what to do with me. They ignored me because what? You want to do what? You're trying to figure out how much money this restaurant made last night, and we're just here having dinner. And well, yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. How much are the plates? I don't know. I was always in business. They didn't know what to do with me. But with us, we want to help people succeed. I don't care if you have one business or 10 business, whatever it is. We want to help people succeed, and we've got some knowledge that might be valuable to people, and we've seen it play out multiple times. Helping people. And it's very gratifying to see someone actually take charge, because what happens is people don't realize, let's just say a realtor, you're a great realtor. You won rookie of the year. And now your years are clicking by and you're making money and you sent the kids to the private school. Everything's rocking and rolling. You're taking the grid vacation. You got this, you got that. And then guess what? It's time to retire. You quit working and you go, oh, you just have what you have. Well, what if you would have been buying a building a year, let's just say a duplex every year or every other year, and you did 25 years in real estate? Well, guess what? You got 12 different duplexes paid for. Now you travel where you want, eat where you want, stay where you want, live where you want. It's a better life, right? But you got to be thinking that way. A lot of people just get caught up in day to day and don't think about, hey, guess what? I can keep my W-2 job. I don't have that entrepreneur spirit, but real estate is a hell of an investment if you're going to keep it long term. Even if you pay retail on Crexy or LoopNet and you don't die, you're going to make money. Yeah. Even if you buy wrong. So we give people, take action, figure it out. It will not be perfect the first time. You might overpay the first time, but one thing is you'll learn from that, but not having real estate just doesn't make sense. I don't care if you work for TSA, you should, if you want more out of life, and some people don't want more. So I don't like, pooping on someone else's idea. But if you want more out of life and you're working for TSA and you like that check and that retirement coming, well, what if you could have more by just living a little bit below your means, maybe having a side hustle, taking that money and getting your first duplex that cash flows? Wow. Maybe you would end up buying another one in 3 years. And now you got 2 of them. The guy next to you at TSA has 0. And then add on a few more years and now you got 3 of them. Now you're rolling, So you can keep your W-2 job. Because this life isn't for everyone, believe me.
Yeah. Hands down. That's so cool. What's your plans for the rest of the year, guys? Mike and Bo. I mean, we're in February. There's still a lot to go for 2024. Do you guys have any goals and stuff?
We have one company we just started, Court Specialty Services, which works in the refineries. They do what they call turnaround. So it's maintenance on plants. We have a fabrication shop that builds, just big steel stuff. Again, partnerships, because they look like sparklers to me, but there's guys working in that place. And so now we're going into the refineries. And so we got a really good partner in that has spent 30 years into it. Had an opportunity, presented an opportunity to us. It's his first go around in a business. We're coaching him up. So it's something that we have really good projections for this year. We've already, I don't want to say we've gotten a PO from SpaceX because we have not, but we've been to the property. We've gotten to meet the people there. And it looks like we got doing some business and SpaceX and Tesla, which is just 2 big clients. Obviously, we know who they are. But so that's an exciting thing for 2024 is to build that company.
Definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, you guys just be spinning up stuff like it's nothing. Like, it's so amazing, man. So amazing.
It's got huge potential. And honestly, it came through partnership and it came through, we started the fabrication company. So that kind of gave us an in to bring this guy on and end up started up our 2.0 version of our fabrication company. But then also he knows other people that we're partners with in the motorsports and other places in Texas. So it kind of brought it all together.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So guys, what's the best way for people to reach out to you about coaching, learning everything that you guys are doing?
Honestly, the best way to do it is to text us. If you can text us, I mean, we'll get right back to you. But our text number is 928-605-4335. Again, that's 928-605-4335. Or the other thing is at Mike and Bo. On Instagram, if you DM us on Instagram at Mike and Bo spelled out completely, that's probably the second best way to get a hold of us. But honestly, if you can shoot us a text, we'll get right back to you and show you what we offer and see if we can help you. And if we can bring value, we're going to bring value. If we can't, and we're not like-minded and not chasing the same football, we won't. So. It's been a good thing though. I mean, anybody that has the aspirations to get into real estate or scale their business or get into business, it's been very successful for us and them to do it.
Cool. Well said. I mean, I love you guys, Mike and Bo. You guys do amazing things. You're not flash dancing, which is the best part. You guys are the real deal in every business and doing everything on the ground level. Do I have one last question for you that I ask all guests? What keeps you going every day when you wanted to give up? Whether it was when you were younger, even going through stuff now.
For me, I know right away. I mean, from the time I was a kid to this morning, is I don't want to let anybody down. Mm-hmm. I don't want to let my wife down. I don't want to let my kids down. I don't want to let my partners down. I don't want to let anybody around me down. And so that keeps me driving. And I don't want to let myself down. If I hold myself accountable, on the daily basis. And it's a grind, man. We've run into some freaking hard ass times, but thing about it is you're not going to die.
Yeah, keep going.
You're going to take a few hits. And as you get older, you realize that those hits that you've taken over the years that seemed so bad when you were going through them, those are just learning lessons and you grew from it. So if you're taking a hit tomorrow, guess what? It's not that bad. It's a learning lesson. Suck it up.
Yeah. I say one thing for me is honestly, fear of failure, as far as like, once I start a project, I want to make sure that I'm successful at it. So I'm real disciplined on what I do and how I do it. And so my morning routines, getting into business, I want to be successful. So and I love the feeling of being successful. So just having a goal and then accomplishing it, whether in business and health or fitness, whatever I'm doing. I just, it's rewarding to me to have a challenge and then accomplish that challenge. So I live for that, to just keep going, just figure it out. The reward of reaching a goal, reaching a challenge. And yeah, I like building a business and it feels good. It's not about like, oh, let me accumulate more money. It's not like that at all. And it's always been that way. Of course, I've always liked nice things, so don't get me wrong with that. But I've always loved the idea of being in business and the feelings I get when I'm in business helping a customer. It feels really good.
Cool. Well said, guys. I love that. You guys have kids, right? I'm assuming you guys got kids. I have
we
a
both got
15-month-old.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have, Mike?
I got 3 boys.
Got 3 boys, and you
Yep,
both.
I got 2 boys and a girl.
Yeah.
2 boys and a girl. So I have a 15-month-old, still new dad, still learning, grinding it out. What advice are you guys going to give your kids? Because you guys have so much experience and knowledge. Like, what are you going to teach them? Like, I'm kind of curious. And what advice would you give to other people that have kids to do the same thing?
I love that question that you're asking right there, because it is going to consume the rest of your life. And that's the most important thing is your child, and maybe you'll have more, but what it did for me once there's the baby, and I've always had all these businesses. So it's, I love business. I love these kids. But what it does is lead by example in every single way. Through grief, if that comes up in your life, or when it does, through happiness, through success, and staying humble. And if they are watching you every single day, and I think that's the problem with today is people don't realize your kids are watching what you eat. So I watch what I eat. I work out every single day. I don't preach to my kids or my wife to work out, but it's hard to be around me if pretty soon you're working out because that's what everyone else is doing. So I don't like pushing entrepreneurship, but I always made sure I had just enough of mailbox money still coming the old school way, because they get the mail and it sits there on the table. And so I knew after enough years, they'd start asking, what are those checks, Dad? And then I could explain to them, hey, what I do is this is what I did. I didn't have to do any work for this, but this check shows up. This check shows up. I have direct deposit and everything, but I kept them going. I still to this day still get a stamp shows up on an envelope just so my kids would see that. And it took a lot of years for them to see it, but I always let those checks sit there every month. And then pretty soon they asked again. And so I was able to explain it. So I don't know, just always do the right thing because the kids are watching. And if you're doing the best you can and they see you always doing right, you're not cheating on your wife, you're not doing this, you're not arguing with your best friend, they're watching. Pretty soon they're just following. They don't know any better. Go out and get drunk every night. Guess what they're going to be doing? Getting drunk with pops at 16, right? So do the right thing, man. They're watching.
That's what I would say. That's the biggest thing is just do the right thing. Every pass. I mean, with my boys growing up and dating girls, I would, let them know, do the right thing, man.
Yeah.
You're going to break up with her, do the right thing.
Yeah.
Don't shoot her a text. Don't dog her. I mean, same with my daughter. I mean, it was the same thing. It would just always just do the right thing, man. Do right by people and it'll play out. And then everyone's going to have that story of, I did right by them and they did me wrong. That's okay. Just keep on doing the right thing, man. It all plays out for you.
They see you treating your wife like a queen. Guess what they'll probably do to their girlfriends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, exactly.
Hands down. I love those answers, guys. Appreciate the insights on that one. Cool. Well, Mike and Bo, thank you so much, man. I love you guys. Thank you so much for spending your time. You running 43 companies, but yet you still ended up coming on my podcast. So I'm very, I appreciate it so much. I'm very humble and grateful for that. So thank you. Guys out there, please reach out to Mike and Bo. Text them. I'll have the notes on there below, the video, the links. These guys are real deal. If you want to learn about real estate and business or one or the other, please reach out to them.
Right on.
Until next episode, though. Peace out. Thanks, guys.
Right. Hey, thank you very much.
Terry. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Pleasure.
Thank you. All right.